Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Anywhere But Here. This is episode 9. I'm Tom.
I'm Ant.
And today we're joined by our good friend Loz.
Yeah.
Hello.
Laurie Williams.
Yeah, no, thanks for that introduction. I was about to do it myself. But...
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but you're a guest. So
well, no,
you don't get that
I
privilege.
didn't know how it works.
We need to do some sort of... It needs to be introduction based, you know, because when the video goes up, people will see you, but seeing as we're here...
Yeah,
we need,
the
in the ears,
right,
you know, people don't have the...
Yeah, people on YouTube would be like, well, to be fair, they're probably like, who the fuck are those three?
True, exactly.
We don't get many listeners, no viewers.
No.
Speaking of YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to say, I did promise last week that... I didn't promise, I said last week that there was going to be a video up during the week sometime, but... it didn't go up. Reason being, I told Loz when he got here, the camera for some reason split the file when it got to 4 gigabytes.
Oh.
I think that's something to do with the way file sizes and file system or whatever.
I see.
So I only copied one across and I was like, where the fuck is the last 10 minutes of the video?
Ah.
And then I found it today. That's what I was doing today when you got here.
Oh, I
trying
see.
To upload it
You're
today,
trying to edit
but
it all
it
together.
just didn't get there. It's all edited and stuff. I just need to upload it.
Righto. So episode 8 will be up on YouTube today.
Yeah, and shortly after,
and
episode
maybe
9 should be up.
episode 9, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So in the
cool.
next couple of days you'll get 2. Oh, we spoil you.
As usual, Shambolic, the most Shambolic podcast ever recorded.
We're nice and regular on...
So am I.
Yeah, that's a bad choice of words we've lost it. Nice and regular on iTunes. Although episode 8 didn't show up for a couple of days, but I think that was my fault.
But it's there if you're a subscriber, so you should subscribe, really.
Yeah,
because then you get it
won't
straight
miss
away.
them.
That's the key.
I mean, if not, go to the website, abhpod.com, they're always there.
Indeed, they are.
Oh, smooth.
Maybe we need to employ the services of some sort of studio to help us out with our problems, but we can't advertise him yet. I don't know.
No. Plus, we don't get any money because nobody seems to use our Amazon link.
No,
on
please
our
use the
website.
Amazon link. Please. Oh, that's another thing. That Man Skills book still hasn't turned up.
It hasn't.
It will do.
From Amazon.
I have.
Oh, you have.
But
now?
the thing is, it's so cheap now that we won't get any money from it anyway. So,
Really?
but I did go through the banner.
Oh, you did. Just
but
in
it
case.
was like 10p, and then a £2 postal charge.
Yeah, I'm not sure you actually get any kickback from the postal charge.
No, so we
So
won't get
10p,
anything
so
from it. We'll
yeah,
get
no.
about a tenth of a penny or something. Yeah, so
I don't know. But I was going to say as well, you introduced Laurie Williams. Was it you that changed your name?
Yeah, I changed it to my middle name.
You changed it to your middle name?
Yeah, and then I kind of grew up and stopped taking drugs, so I changed it back.
You changed it back.
Oh,
I
right.
did think, I was like, hang on, I'm sure he changed his name at some point.
Yeah,
You've
no,
always been Loz
I was
to us.
16,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
16,
Yeah.
when you changed your name. Yeah, because I did vaguely remember a time that you did that.
I know. You see, I've never known this.
Oh, you didn't
No,
know?
see,
Yeah,
that's
It's
he's
quite
always
scary
been
that
Loz.
we've probably known each other for...
Yeah, I met
Well.
you at college.
Yeah, so 12 years.
12 years. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a story that, and it could be a story you could tell actually, because I remember we were actually speaking about it when me and Liz went to London last week, because I think it was, went past the electric, was it the electric ballroom? And there was a story about Mudvayne. Was that the electric ballroom? It was Camden, wasn't it?
Wait, what's the
Basically,
story?
you said about you seeing Mudvayne there, and I said, oh yeah, I remember because Loz showed me like a blood-soaked dollar.
No, I don't think that's me.
You had somebody had a blood-soaked dollar that I met. They got their nose broken in a mosh pit at Mudvayne.
Blood-soaked dollar? No, I broke my finger in stamping ground.
So, who the hell was it then? I'm sure you... I don't
Liam
know.
broke my nose in the Deftones.
At the Deftones.
Yeah, and I did get a nosebleed at... Oh, the drummer from Slipknot had a side project with Wednesday 13. I can't
Oh,
remember
Murder
their name.
Dolls.
Murder
Oh,
Dolls,
Murder Dolls,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I did get a nosebleed then. But
Yeah,
no, I never had
I think that's about 3 or 4 different stories getting mixed up. I'm sure
But
there
it
was...
sounds interesting
Yeah,
anyway.
that's why I thought it was you, because somebody, Liz was saying about a big nosebleed, nose broken. And I'm sure someone showed me a dollar that was just soaked in blood, and I thought it was you showed me at college, but it might have been somebody else from college.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was me.
He's trying to remember now.
No, I've never had.
okay.
I might have had a dollar at
I don't
one
know.
point, but never blood soaked.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I probably still have it.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, what's the story about Liam breaking your nose, eh?
Oh, well, we were just at Wembley Arena watching the Deftones with support from A Perfect Circle.
Yeah.
And, Wembley Arena was like, we were young, we used to just go to gigs, didn't really care what it sounded like.
Yeah,
But
I remember times
since
like
I've been older and finding out that the sound in London, Wembley Arena is actually terrible.
It is
It's just
shocking.
bounces around the place.
I find that with most venues like that, like Wembley Arena, the O2.
Anywhere cavernous.
Yeah, the O2's not great. I mean, I think it is for certain sort of bands. And it depends how close you are.
I went to the arena to see the Pogues.
Was that at the
just
O2?
before Christmas at the O2 Arena. The actual
the
O2 Arena.
you mean the big arena?
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you meant the little bar, the O2.
No.
Indigo.
That's,
the Indigo.
That's where I thought I'd be seeing them because normally
the
they
Pogues.
play every year at Brixton Academy.
Yeah, which I don't like.
Which is tiny. No, the sound's a bit. You've got to stand right in the middle near the sound desk. Yeah, but it was awful. They were rubbish. And Frank Turner supported, and he was really good.
Yeah,
but the sound in there's rubbish. They only had the floor open and a couple of rows of seats.
oh, right.
Like they pulled these big curtains around the top,
Two
however
tiers,
many
yeah.
tiers.
So it was probably like they usually do for things, because I've been there when it's like that, and they close it up until the VIP boxes.
Yeah,
and then it's the
tier
the above.
gods.
It's the upper tier they close.
Yeah. And it was a rubbish sound. Whereas Brixton normally, because you got the intimacy, I mean, it doesn't really matter so much about the. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Even with the shit sound, the atmosphere was really good.
Because the floor wasn't even packed. Like there was hardly anyone there. And they would have done better still being at Brixton, I think, personally.
Or the Indigo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying, sorry about that.
That was back in the day when maybe I just really enjoyed going for a good old mosh.
Yeah.
And
I do miss those days.
Yeah, it started to hurt when I got to a certain age, and it was just like, no, it's not worth it anymore.
I was never a fan of the moshing. I'm too small. That's my problem.
Yeah, you've got some not heft behind you. You know what I mean? You've got some
wide
power.
shoulders, but
you've got some power behind you.
One of the last ones I was at was again at Brixton. It was a Dropkick Murphys show, and I'd lost all my friends because during the Bouncing Souls, I decided to go and get a beer, and they all moved from the place that they said they were going to be at, which is nice.
I fucking hate it when.
And so I got stuck down near the front somewhere between these two skinheads. Massive, like 6 foot, the proper kind of Irish, the Pogues fans type thing, and at one point, one of them pulled the elbow out and caught me right across the bridge of the nose and knocked me out. And when I woke up, I was still standing and kind of bouncing around between these two guys. Yeah. Because it was so kind of squashed in.
They held you up.
Yeah, and I kind of was like, oh man, and kind of brushed my face and realised that there was just blood everywhere. I just exploded. My nose had just exploded all over my front. And the security guard was standing right in front of me, but just didn't seem to give a shit. So I was trying to ask for help, and he wasn't giving me any help. So I wiped my hand across my face and flung it at him. They move when you do that.
Yeah.
They don't like the blood in the face. So I spent the rest of the gig in the hospitality area getting patched up, and then realised that because I had a backpack on, I was looking around universities during the day.
Oh yeah.
All my stuff had got nicked. Everything. My wallet, my iPod, my phone, everything. Shit. It was rubbish.
There's the true mark of a true podcaster. Tom got his story about a bloody nose out before lost.
Yeah, so...
Well, funnily enough, so we're in the pit, and eventually, it was quite a large circle pit, and I went in one way and Liam went the other, and just so happens when we both met, he was spinning around some other person, which I was running around the side of.
So you both ran around the same way.
He caught me in the with the back of his hand, and it didn't actually bleed. So but yeah, it
didn't bleed, but he broke.
Yeah, it was quite crazy, and then he came up to me like, "Oh, I've just hit someone in the face." I was like, "Yeah, it was me." But ended up I left it for a little while, say 2-3 years, and then eventually the cartilage had grown over one of my nostrils where it was trying to repair. So I had to go and get my nose septoplasty, where they break your nose and scrape out the cartilage and then stick some packs in the, and then like 2 weeks off work, like black eyes, things like that. But,
that's good.
And some major nosebleeds, but no, I don't think they did it too well. But funnily enough, I had a nosebleed yesterday for the first time in years. So it's just really peculiar.
I go through stages with nosebleeds. It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually ever been involved in a circle pit where there's people going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that was cool.
Generally, the ones I go to, it's usually punk gigs, ska gigs and stuff like that, and they all go in the same way.
Yeah.
And if you're slower than everyone else, that's when you get hurt.
Yeah.
Because they just run over the top of you. I think the worst circle pits I've ever seen is... or the biggest one I've seen is Bullet for My Valentine at Reading Festival. Like me and Liz, because Liz is a huge Bullet for My Valentine fan, and I think they're one of the reasons that we kind of ended up getting together, because they played it at Subs one night, which is a rock night.
It was
a rock night at one of the clubs
in Maidstone, where we live.
But it kind of lost its appeal. But they played the Bullet for My Valentine song, and me and Liz were the only two up on the dance floor dancing to it.
I see.
So we ended up kind of dancing, and we knew each other in passing anyway. But that's kind of what we bonded over.
I see.
But then we went to see them. When was it? Sunday. The Sunday.
Yes, last Sunday.
At the Camden Roundhouse. I don't know if you've ever been there.
No, I haven't.
It is an amazing venue. It's awesome. It's really. You kind of go in and it looks like a circus big top.
Oh right.
Like you've got netting and it kind of goes up to a point in the middle.
Right.
It's quite interesting. The only problem is there is around the outside of the kind of central dance floor, there's like poles at like 10 feet intervals all the way round, or 15-foot intervals, and there's just big poles. So if you're in the seating, you're behind those poles, so you kind of get an obstructed view.
That's a bit weird.
But it is an awesome venue, and you're saying you never used to care about the sound and stuff like that. There was two support bands and Bullet for My Valentine, and there was a guy with his phone, and he filmed the whole thing.
Really?
The whole set. He was stood right near us, and he just had his hands up, and he was like, I felt like just going up to him going, "You're going to watch that when you get home?
What's the
like,
point?
You're going to enjoy the concert when you get home, are you?" It's just like, and the sound's not going to be very good.
No.
It's going to be all distorted. You're not going to see much, because obviously the way lenses work, it will be kind of like you. It's kind of a weird thing you get with cameras. Like, when you're looking, when you're actually there, they seem really close. But if you film it on your phone, it looks further. The distance is the focal length puts them further away. So you'd be better off just watching it.
I personally,
like you hear people say, it's like, whatever happened to enjoying a concert?
Yeah.
Why'd you have to film it?
Yeah, exactly. You just think, when bands bring out DVDs and things like that, they've employed people who don't really care about the music. They're just there for their job.
Yeah.
So they're going to do the best they can and let you enjoy it. But
just buy
I can't
DVD.
imagine the sound was too good off of a mobile either. So
no, I mean, I did spend time when I used to kind of film maybe 15-20 seconds all my favourite songs of a gig, and like that sort of, and the sound used to be bad. Occasionally you get one where it's good, like Milton Keynes. I used to get good sound because there's distance between you and the speaker.
But half the time it's just like
it's just a massive amount of distortion.
I think that's more down to the types of music that you
well,
we do listen to music that makes it. That's a very good point.
Yeah. No, I prefer to go for more melodic stuff now, but I get really annoyed now if I'm standing somewhere and someone starts pushing me around, and it's just like, fuck off. And I've got to that stage in my life now.
We got that at Hyde Park when we went to see Foo Fighters. Like,
yeah, we did,
those
didn't we?
kids in front of us.
Yeah.
Like Hyde Park, we were a long way from the stage, a long way from anyone who should be moshing.
They had the Golden Circle for a start, which is a complete load of horseshit.
But to be fair, it's Foo Fighters. You shouldn't be moshing anyway.
No.
It's not the sort of music you mosh to.
Not really.
But we had those 4 or 5 sort of young lads.
Yeah.
And me and Tom were just like, they're pissing us off. Should we go and join in and make them move? So I just gave Liz my glasses and we just went in and we started moshing with them, and eventually they disappeared.
I can imagine, Like now, I've only been wearing glasses for maybe 2 months now. And I can imagine like now it'd be like, oh, can someone hold my glasses?
Yeah, I want to go and have a mosh.
I mean, the only reason I started doing that was because like going down to subs and joining in the mosh pits, I just broke so many pairs of glasses. Like you kind of, oh shit, where have my glasses gone? You pick them up and the arms kind of bend over to one side, and it's.
So I'm quite glad I never had to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
One day maybe. Although no, because I don't enjoy that anymore.
No. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I really enjoy going to gigs anymore.
I like going to gigs still. I don't feel like I go to enough anymore. Like every now and then I really get the urge to go and see a band play live, but it's the expense and everything that gets me. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Actually, the live music aspect of it, I do love. Like when we went up to London, and I did really enjoy. I mean, I posted on Facebook. I very rarely find bands, like new bands to listen to. And although they're not a new band, one of the support bands for Bullet for My Valentine was Hailstorm.
Oh yeah,
and I thought they were amazing. And I actually ended up buying the CD when I was there because I just enjoyed it so much. And it's like that sort of music I played. It's not the sort of music I played last week, but it's got that sort of anthemic sort of sound to it.
Right.
And I really enjoy that, especially live. You're laughing at the word anthemic, aren't you?
No, I wasn't laughing at all.
You started kind of smirking. I was like, but I thought, and I do kind of have a soft spot for female lead singers as well at the minute.
Who doesn't?
And I'm in the sound of the voice.
Oh right, oh yeah.
I'm in the sound of the voice, and it is kind of like it's a weird sort of classic rock sort of sound they've got as well.
Right. No, I haven't listened to them.
They're really good. I might bring them in for H.
Yeah, maybe
at some point.
Your new thing.
I can't imagine ever going to a gig. I mean, okay, so I went to like a fundraiser for the team last night, and like there was a couple of bands and a burlesque show, and like freak show and things like that. But I just came away thinking, I know why I don't go to bars. I know why I don't go to gigs. Nowhere offers Earl Grey tea. And like
that is something that's missing at a lot of venues. Actually,
I can't deal with just beer and Coke. It's just
you prefer to have a comfy chair and a brew.
Yeah. They were selling cakes there, and what goes with a cake? Not a beer.
Well, no, that's
true. Tea.
Why would you sell cakes and not tea?
No, it was a fundraiser for charity. So
but why would you sell cakes and not tea then?
Oh right,
they need to offer tea with cakes, exactly. Especially if it's a fundraiser. It's not. But you said team.
Yes.
Sure.
I am.
I was going to ask about this anyway.
Part of a roller derby team.
Oh right.
I'm a referee for the Kent Roller Girls. Awesome. Well, I've just passed actually. So
you're actually a licensed ref.
Yeah, like well, yeah, I've passed like the tests and things like that. I mean, there are more advanced referees which you could go through for testing, but I'm perfectly okay for what our league has. Did my first about maybe 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago I think. So but yeah, no, it's really good fun. Like learn a new skill and things like that. Like say I think I was 27. Wait, no, I'm still 27. So I started it when I was 27, almost 28. But like just picked up a new sport and things like that. So yeah, it's really good fun. Like
it's supposed to be really. It's an up and coming thing, isn't it? It's something that's kind of gaining more and more prominence.
Yeah, I mean, I think it took a hit because I think when you said about roller derby, it's like roller derby. Why does he do that? And I looked it up on YouTube, and then I saw all those old the old matches they used to do in America, all the staged.
Yeah, it's very much like WWE,
like throwing elbows, and it's just like that doesn't look fun. No. But then you kind of look at the proper roller derby, and we watched that. I know it's another thing, that film Whip It.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it.
I never watched it. I wanted to.
With Ellen Page
and
who
Drew
I'm kind
Barrymore.
of losing. Yeah, and Drew Barrymore.
She was
Juliette
a director, wasn't she?
Yeah, Drew Barrymore directed it. Yeah.
Oh right.
But yeah, I was going to say with Ellen Page, isn't it? I'm kind of losing. Like when I saw Juno, I thought, oh, she's a really good actress. I like her. And then it's kind of watch Whip It, and it's like, she's the same person.
Have you seen Hard Candy?
Yeah, she's totally different in that. That was really good. I liked that. But yeah, in Juno, I think since Juno, she kind of, and then Whip It, she kind of played the same character, where she's got these quite strict parents, although the dad's not quite as strict as the mum, and then she's kind of like this rebellious sort of
smart talking.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like that's the same person. That's Juno again.
Well, maybe
It's still a good film,
I
though.
haven't seen
Ellen
Juno.
Page needs to be less typecast.
Yeah.
There you
But
go.
I think it was the popularity of
Pull your
Juno
finger out,
probably
love.
done that.
Yeah, probably.
The thing is, she's being cast as that person. It's not her fault.
No. You're giving acting advice to Ellen Page.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I've got an opinion. I hope I
sorry.
don't offend her, though.
Casting advice.
Yeah, no, yeah. We hope we don't offend anyone.
Yes.
Is she a subscriber? Or do you
I
not
don't
know?
know.
No, I
don't know,
don't
yeah,
think so. I don't think she's one of our... I
would.
don't know how many we get.
I wouldn't want to say the exact number of people we get downloading this a week.
No, I'm suddenly very aware of the people you've mentioned in the past who listen to this. So, like your father and
Yeah.
your missus. So I'm kind of trying to reel in the F-bomb and
No.
Oh, no,
Don't worry.
Where do you think I learned?
No, it's all it's whatever. However you want to say anything, it kind of, anything goes on this podcast.
If they don't like it, they'll stop listening. But don't stop listening.
No, please don't.
and definitely buy through
Amazon.
the ABH
Yeah.
There you go. You see.
Amazon, and follow them on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. That's a good point. Twitter. Actually, so speaking of Twitter, we kind of like this week. I've never had a proper conversation sort of thing on Twitter, like a back and forth.
No.
But this week, like our Twitter feeds just exploded.
Yeah, I
us
know.
three.
Yeah.
And I think it started with how much orange juice is too much orange juice? Was it?
No, oranges.
Oranges. Like
Oh,
Loz posted, how many oranges is too many oranges?
I think I had 6 that day.
I mean, this is essentially why Loz is here today, is because we had a massive conversation on Twitter. What
Had a
was
big
it,
old four-way.
on Friday or Saturday? No,
No, it
can't even
was-
remember. No, it was earlier on in this week.
it
Yeah, I
was
think
Wednesday
I
or
think it was
Thursday.
Wednesday because I was finishing
that's
listening
right.
to the podcast whilst eating my oranges, and yeah, I believe you mentioned me last week at the end
Yeah, we did say
Yeah.
about getting you on.
because of the offence and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because essentially we want to kind of talk to people who actually
Yeah, we've
that
kind of
have
come
an
to
interest.
we've come to realise that me and Tom on our own, not quite so interesting.
It works. It works, but
sometimes we lose out, and so it does help to get other people in. I think.
yeah, definitely, because it gives another perspective on stuff, and it gives
And generally, other people are a bit quicker than us
yeah,
because we're worrying too much about everything sounding right and blank spaces. People just kind of fill them in.
So yeah, I mean, and then kind of we got onto all sorts of stuff like
Old stories.
from
yes.
old times.
Yes.
I don't know if Loz really wants to
that-
admit to that.
Not a problem. I think most people who know me know of my skill.
Yeah.
That's
So-
true. Let's just say Loz was experimental when he was younger.
Or Liz
And,
said, like when she kind of looked out the window and went, "Oh, the smelly one's here, the smelly boy," or something like that, or smell bad. I can't remember what she said. It was something to do with smell. So
Because we kind of touched on scatological issues last week at the very beginning of the podcast, and
and I still like that word.
I get the feeling that this could descend into gross out territory fairly soon, maybe.
Right, the fact we're talking about it
I
now.
don't know.
Are you not comfortable with it?
I don't mind.
But do we want our podcast to turn into a podcast
I don't
about
know,
shit?
yeah.
Literally.
This might be a bad idea, but I suppose we could talk about your 25th birthday party.
Yeah, because
Which
that
was
was
part of the
main
reason,
part
yeah.
really of the conversation the other night was
It got a
that
bit messy,
I had
didn't
a 25th at my flat where I was living at the time, which I'm not anymore, which is probably a good thing because I think a lot of things got broken that night, and I had to try and disguise them before I left.
Liz got a bit broken that night.
I think people in general got
I
broken.
think the thing that broke most people that night was those vodka jelly shots.
Yeah,
Who made them?
me and my housemate Andy Kidd, we decided we were going to go all out and make the most outrageous vodka shots imaginable. I don't think either of us had ever made vodka jelly shots before.
Yeah, I think the ratio was like 80% vodka, 20%
Well,
jelly, wasn't it?
I think you're supposed to make it like jelly, but put a couple of shots of vodka in. I think that's how you're supposed to do it.
Did you
But
replace the water with vodka?
the only ingredients for the vodka jellies were 1 pack of strawberry jelly, You know, it's got maybe 12 cubes or whatever it is of jelly, or you know, and 1.5 liters of cheap vodka. But the problem was we made them quite early. I think we made them in the morning or maybe the early afternoon. So
quite nicely.
Well, the problem was we put them in the fridge. They didn't set. They were still liquid. When we were starting to think about people turning up. So what we did is then put them in the freezer tray of the fridge to try and really kind of, you know, set them properly. But then when we got them out, all the crystals of vodka had formed on the top, like, because there was nothing else. It was just vodka and jelly. There was nothing to kind of the alcohol could
sets a
different temperature.
Is it lower temperature?
Yeah.
So it all kind of floated to the top.
Yeah, so the vodka kind of went to the top while the jelly sunk. Yeah.
So they were they had these little crystal puddles of alcohol on top of them, and they were good.
Well, that's what I was going to say about breaking Liz. Was like after all the other stuff that went down that Loz will probably tell us about in a second.
Well, it wasn't just Loz.
No,
it wasn't just.
No, lots of stuff happened, but the big
that happened. But also, one of our other friends managed to piss through the fence.
Really?
Into the pig.
Into the pub.
The pub pig garden. And I think did he hit someone?
Oh no, I missed that.
He decided because I think maybe someone else was using the toilet.
Probably.
And so he
I
could.
think that must have happened after we went. Because we went. Liz took a turn for the worst. Basically, got very drunk. I think she went down your stairs on her ass.
Yeah, that's right.
Not falling. She kind of.
She just
was
couldn't.
Like, I'm not going to make it down those stairs.
Walk.
I will slide down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then we got outside, got round the corner, and she kind of leant up against the doorway and then just slid to the floor.
And bearing in mind, you live about a 3-minute walk from door to door.
Took us about half an hour. But this happened like when I used to work in town.
Yeah.
The kind of same sort of thing happened, but it was Sambuca shots, and it was up at Tunbridge Road at I don't know what it's called now. It used to be the MIJ. Anyway.
I think I know the one
you're
talking
it was
about.
By the charcoal grill.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the charcoal grill.
No, yeah.
Up Tunbridge Road.
Kebab house.
It was over the road from there, and it took us about 2 hours to get home from there.
Jesus.
And that's 20 minutes away.
She doesn't do the shots very well.
No.
That's kind of how I am nowadays. I can't do shots anymore.
I've never been able to drink. But yeah, the 25th birthday.
25th. Okay, yeah. So I believe it was the same week that I was in a car accident where I was waiting at a set of traffic lights and some guy crashed into me. So quite bad whiplash. I didn't claim or anything. I'm not that kind of person, but so I ended up. I was seeing some girl at the time, and she was a bit of a nutter, but as was like just what I used to do really, like date nutters. But anyway, so it got to the Friday. So I think the accident was on the Tuesday. It got to the Friday, and my neck was really bad. And I just got in from work, and I texted her. I said, "Look, I'll meet you a little bit later. I'm going to take some pills and have a nap." And I woke up, I had about 7 missed calls, like a load of messages, like, "Where are you? Like, don't even bother coming round, blah, blah, blah." So I ended up texting maybe John. I said, "Oh, what are you up to?" And he was like, "Oh, it's Tom's birthday down at his flat." So I was like, "Okay, yeah." So it's a bit of an unplanned night out, and
they're always the best.
He wasn't planning on going out.
No, I was planning on spending an evening with the lady, but I just couldn't deal with that. So I ended up going out getting. Well, actually, it was Johnny Lim's fault, I believe.
Was it?
Because he had a 5 shot glass. So
that was I think it was that's mine, that Vegas shot glass. But he'd found it and decided that it was a good idea for everyone to start.
Was he the one who bought? Was it apple sours? Maybe.
Yeah, it would have been him or it would have been Ian.
Somebody always buys apple sours.
Yeah.
So,
someone always brings apple sours. Don't like shots. Have some shots.
Yeah.
Well, it just looks like a normal drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Apple ties.
But so that quickly degenerated into madness, really. So the stairs as well. The stairs with Big Chris.
Yeah.
And the 3-litre bottle of Strongbow, I believe.
Yeah.
Which
I
wasn't
think
quite done up properly.
No.
So,
what happened with that? Because at some point, because there were so many people coming in and out at various stages of the night.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
Yeah, I think at one point there were about 16 people in that room.
There was a lot of people. I don't have a lot of memories of that night just because it was so jumbled and so much happened.
Yeah.
I can't remember a lot of stuff.
I
remember Liz. I remember Loz's story.
Yeah.
I remember being up in kids' room and his hamster was like terrified. He hid his hamster or something.
Yeah, something like that. Didn't we also
take it out and put it in its ball?
Yeah.
And he was running around his room in the
I
ball
think so.
with like 15 people kind of standing over it, and we're playing his bass.
I was going to say, because Carl and... because
Carl was
playing the bass.
I think, surprisingly enough, I started having a conversation with Loz about religion.
Right.
I think. Yeah, because Matt was there.
He was.
And Matt had just basically told everyone that he was now religious.
Mm.
So I think you and Matt ended up sitting having a conversation about religion.
Matt.
Yeah, he used to live down the road.
This is Matt, our old drummer that we have mentioned previously. There's going to be a lot of names in this podcast that people...
Yeah.
You're just going to have to bear with us.
Yeah, it's basically Matt's sort of religious conversion was what caused him to quit the band, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think he was in conflict with some of our song lyrics.
Oh,
and he ended up kind of going a bit
touched on
crazy
that,
and then quit the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are also deep-lying psychological
Oh, yeah,
reasons
So
as
the
well.
undiagnosed illness that he's got. But yeah, I remember that night you ended up sitting and having a conversation with Matt about religion.
Because I used to be quite religious, believe it or not.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to bring religion up again.
Yeah.
Just in case we offend anyone.
A whole month.
Well, unless my parents listen to this, I don't think we'll offend anyone. So.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, so I just seem to remember like being incredibly drunk, and the stairs kind of went down and then took a right and then a left, so you could go outside. But then someone stood at the top with a bottle of Strongbow. It wasn't quite done up, and they just launched it down the stairs. So there's me and Big Chris trying to leg it out the door. Everything happens in slow motion at those moments. So like it bounces down the stairs, and then it obviously that's where the carbonated part is just spraying out everywhere, like all up the wall, on the carpet, on the ceiling, all over me, all over Chris. Then, we're just trying to bundle out the door, but there's people outside smoking, so we're barging into them, and like this bottle just isn't stopping. It's gone round the corner, and it's coming through the door, and we're legging it like, it's something out of Vietnam, really.
Yeah, I'm sure Vietnam was just like that.
Agent Orange Cider. Because I think I don't know whether it was that something dented part of the wall, and I have a feeling it might have been that.
I think it was that night. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Was it that damaged the wall? It might have been. Don't like to say it, but it might have been Big Chris kind of trying to get out the way.
Big Chris was he broke one of the steps. On the stairs.
Yeah.
Because at one point later on in the night, him and Andy Kidd decided that they would have a wrestle.
Yep.
And Big Chris, he's called Big Chris because he's
not small,
quite large. I mean, he's about 6 foot something.
I think he's probably about 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, and he's
built.
He's built. Yeah.
He told me a story once where he went to the gym and thought it was his first time at the gym, and he just thought, I'm going to do some weights. So he started off on 100 kilos,
oh my God.
bench pressing that like it was nothing. Then he just kept upping the weight until it got heavy. So,
bearing in mind, 100 kilos would usually, people usually couldn't do one fucking rep of that.
I don't even know what I could bench, but it's nowhere near 100.
No, and that was his warm up.
Yeah, that's the thing. He is big. Like, I mean, it used to just be fat. Let's just use the word. But I think now he's kind of just.
He just became solid, didn't he?
He was strong. He's always been just this powerful guy.
Yeah, but
now he goes to the gym.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he was always powerful. Now
he's just a brick shithouse. But he grabbed Kid at the top of the stairs, and they were having a tussle.
Yeah.
And they lost balance and tumbled down the stairs. And one of the stairs just cracked in the middle. I don't know how I got away with that. Well, actually I do, because I moved out before Tom and Pip moved out.
Was it always broken?
Yeah, after that day it was. Yeah.
Because you lived there for quite a while after that party.
Yeah.
Like, when I say quite
It
a
was
while, I
just-
mean like years.
It wasn't like it was definitely broken, but it wasn't
Yeah.
unstable.
Yeah.
So I didn't ever mention it to anyone because then there would have been questions, and they might have asked the neighbours because the neighbours weren't particularly happy with us that night because I think they came round at about 12ish.
However, your neighbours never seem to have a problem with us having band practice there every Sunday.
No, but that was because it was every Sunday.
And we always finished before football.
Yeah, that's
started.
right. Yeah. I mean, they were really, really laid back for
But not that night.
for a group of, well, a couple of kind of
Trendy people. shall we
chavvy-ish
say.
type,
They can't really complain too much. They live next to an old Metlers pub.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
there's a
very
lot
true.
of noise
Noise.
coming from the pub that's right out the back.
But yeah, that was probably the weirdest place. Like, why did we do band practice there? Because we had to get like amps and drum kits,
Up.
like from those stairs. I
Yeah.
mean, the stairs they're steep,
Yeah,
but they do kind of you go down and then there's a right
round.
angle followed by a right angle in the opposite direction.
yeah. It was an odd shaped flat.
And many times we had to.
Shouldn't
carry
that be
drum
called a
kit.
left angle?
Yeah. Quite possibly. Yeah.
Right angle then a left angle. Right. Oh my god. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so I suppose like the whole reason this story came about was because I took a shit in a car park.
Basically, yeah. Let's cut to the chase.
Fuck it. That's
All
the
this-
easiest way. Just say it.
All this foreplay to get to the.
Well, no, it was a very memorable night. Probably one of my most favourite nights out. Probably the favourite, just because I don't recall many being as fun. Where there were so many of my friends there that were equally on it. You know,
Everyone. It was
Everyone
like a
was-
perfect storm of everyone really wanting a good time.
Everyone was up for a good night, and yeah, that just kind of seemed. It was a great mixture of people. I mean, a lot of parties you go to, there's usually someone who will just sit in the corner,
Yeah.
and because that person sat in the corner not really enjoying themselves, it kind of brings everyone else
There's
down
an
slightly.
atmosphere. Yeah.
But yeah, that night everyone was just like, "Fuck it, let's just get
Let's
wrecked."
do it. I mean, I'm surprised more stuff didn't get broken or fouled in some way.
I think my memory of that shit incident was Loz coming in, pissing herself out, and just going, "I've just taken a shit over that wall." Because it was a little, what is it, like
It
a
was-
foot and a
yeah,
half, 2
yeah.
foot wall?
Yeah,
and you
that
kind of
is
sat
perfect.
and hung your arse over it. There's like a trough behind it. It's kind of like a trough, and he just come in, "I just took a shit over that wall." We're like, "No, you didn't." He's like, "Yeah, come and have a look." And we went, "Look, yep, that is definitely human shit."
But yeah, I think it was it before or after Johnny decided to take his piss to a fence?
I
I can't
wouldn't be able
remember.
to give you
That's what I
that
mean, because
information.
I don't remember that. I mean, maybe I was inside at the time. I might have already gone home.
No, he basically came back in and was like, "I just took a piss against the fence, but
There's
some of it
holes."
went through. There's holes, and like there were people sitting in the back garden of the pub.
Bit
Just-
splattered.
Yeah,
What's that?
is it
Warm.
raining?
Can't be. It's warm. Oh, dear.
Also recall, I believe we actually ended up going to subs, which we were talking
We
about
did,
earlier.
yeah.
And then it was so bad, we just ended up going back.
We came back, yeah.
And,
I think it was about 12ish or maybe 1. We were like, let's go to subs. Yeah, great. And we went down there and maybe we lasted in about,
half hour,
yeah.
perhaps. And
Half hour,
ended
an
up
hour.
going back, and then the carnage ensued with killer wedgies. I mean, I had blue balls for like quite a while after that. But
Yeah, I
like
definitely
people
left
just
by that
laying on
point,
the
I
floor in absolute agony. And
Yeah.
then, oh yeah, I think people were in the, because there's a shop beneath,
Yeah, there's a shop beneath.
and so you were on the first floor.
Yeah.
So I got on someone's shoulders and was
That's
banging on
right,
the
yeah.
window of this first floor.
At the end of the night, it was, because I think it must have been about, I don't know, 5 in the morning, maybe. I don't know. It
Oh
was,
my god.
I wouldn't even
I don't know.
like to hazard a
'cause,
guess.
people just like I say, we came back from the club and it must have been about 2 or 3, and then we carried on partying when we got back.
Jesus.
And
Can't
then
think why your
yeah,
neighbours were pissed off.
they came round before we went to subs
Oh
to
really?
ask us to turn it like.
That
you
was
know.
probably why we went to subs.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and then we came back and continued, and
Oh
they
my
didn't
God.
come round after that. But I to make it up to them, I gave them the rest of what alcohol we had left.
You scrape it off the wall.
Yeah, basically.
And here's some vodka jelly.
Yeah.
Mind the vodka.
But as everyone left, I was getting the room back into some sort of semblance of reality so that I could sleep somewhere. I think my brother stayed round as well. So he had like the sofa bed out. I got onto my bed, and then like all of a sudden, like just after we kind of sorted everything out and we're just kind of putting down, there's this knocking at the window, which is weird because I'm on the first floor.
Yeah, people shouldn't be knocking on the window.
So I open the window and there's Law's like he's on, I think you're on Big Chris's shoulders.
Perhaps,
weren't you?
yeah.
I was just about to. I was reminded as you were saying about tidying up and stuff. What was that night? One of our other friends stayed around your house. Ali caused you to have to buy a new Freeview box.
Yeah, that was. I
That
used
wasn't
to,
that
because I lived dead, like dead in the centre of town. I kind of became the go-to for people to kind of stay round. Which was fine. I never used
turn
to.
up without and kind of, can I stay here tonight? You were out with them at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that's it.
Is
I
it
would
just
always,
like,
it
Tom,
would always
can I
be an offer.
stay?
No, to be fair, like there's a couple of people who did turn up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just people that my brother used to work with, who I kind of knew, and actually I work with one of them now. His name is Jake.
Okay.
And he and his friend would occasionally turn up at like 3 a.m, knocking on the door, and I'd tell them to fuck off because I haven't been out on a night out, and you can do one. But no, generally speaking, like if I was out on a night out and people couldn't be bothered to go home, there was always a space on my floor for them.
Yeah.
But one night, excuse me, we were out with a friend of ours at Ali.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether we were going to name
From
him, but you've
Preston.
already named him, so you know it's your fault. And he stayed over, and
He tells the story as well.
It was it was quite a drunken night, as they usually were. The next morning he wakes up, he's got to go back to work at McDonald's. He's putting his clothes back on. Not that, you know, but
We
realises
don't judge
that one of his socks is wet, and we were like, oh. What's that about? Did we get? Because we couldn't remember getting a glass. There was a glass nearby, so we were like, oh, maybe the glass got knocked over in the night or something.
It was a black
like that.
period from your drinking.
Yeah. It was the end of the night, which is always a blackout moment for me, to be fair. And we didn't really think much more of it. You know, there was a little bit of not a puddle, but like there was a damp patch on the floor just by the TV where the glass had been. So he put on his sock anyway, went to work, and all the rest of it.
You just wouldn't wear a sock, would you?
No,
Not if it was
I
wet.
wouldn't put it on. There's no way I'd put it on. I'd work barefoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Wet socks is horrible in general.
Surely you could just dry it on one of the fryers there. I'm pretty sure that's what people do.
Yeah,
there anyway,
McDonald's.
so.
I mean, let's face it. You know,
That's true.
they're not known for their
Just slip
gourmet
it on
experience.
The burger grill, turn it over a couple of times.
It's kind of reminded me of something to do with SpongeBob SquarePants at the moment.
Really?
I can't remember the exact episode, but I'm pretty sure he cooked some
tried it,
socks or something.
But I think because it was the summer as well, it was quite warm.
Yeah.
At the time, and we'd both gone out to work, and I'd come back and because the thing is the windows were open as well because
Wait,
you
I've
know,
just
it was
worked out
really
in my
hot.
head what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ahead of us now? The windows have been open as well, so there was air in the flat and everything, and you know, whatever. But about a week or so later, I went to open up the cabinet underneath the TV to put a DVD in or something, and this smell came out, and I was like, what's that? Is that? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Bit of ammonia.
And basically what had happened is during the night Ali had just pissed in the corner of the room all over my TV
TV
cabinet
box.
his set. Yeah, I had to get a new Freeview box. It didn't kill my PlayStation, but it killed my Freeview box. So I'd like to thank Ali for that.
Yeah. I was sitting there thinking, what's the relevance of the heat? And I was kind of, oh yeah.
Yeah. Because the windows are open in the room, so the carpet
So it
fumigated
was airing
itself.
out and stuff. Yeah.
But the inside of the
nice and
cabinet
warm.
was yeah,
Oh.
and especially when you're playing on the PlayStation or whatever, the heat from that is.
And that's the thing with the PlayStation as well. You don't need to open the
No,
cabinet to turn
exactly.
it on. You
Especially if
just
you're
press your
playing
button.
one game all the time
Yeah.
or something, you know. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
good times, good nights out.
What is it with people when they're drunk that they decide anywhere's a good place to piss? I did that once. I wouldn't like to say it wasn't that long ago, like last year or the year before, I think it was. I stood outside. It was when I was still smoking. I stood outside with a couple of my friends after quite a heavy night, and I don't drink a lot anymore because we've got Chloe, so I've kind of calmed down and drinking.
You're
and
a responsible adult.
And I drive, so I just don't like the feeling of it the next morning. Like, I think for those couple of hours, is it really worth it in a way?
Yeah.
And I don't think I've really had a heavy night since Hanny and Cass's wedding. Yeah,
I was considering bringing this up.
we'll do that in a second. But it was. Sorry, Loz's reaction.
I wasn't there,
But
so I don't
This
know.
one a couple of years ago about the pissing. We just stood outside talking to a couple of friends after having a fag or smoking. I say fag, but it's the American people just get off on that, don't they?
Yeah.
But I was smoking outside, and I was just like, I really need to piss. I can't be bothered to go through my front door and upstairs. I'll just piss up against my garden wall
Of course.
out in the street. Just
Yeah.
kind of like, that's a good place to piss. And I'm not like an open person who will get my junk out and strip down wherever, like some of our friends do.
Yeah.
And like I'm talking to my friends, and I'm just having a piss with us, smoking with the other hand.
But it's kind of what just happens. That's the great thing about being a guy.
trying not to
in
mix
that
up the hand I was
situation.
holding it
Well,
with my
yeah.
hand with a cigarette
I'm
in.
not sure. I think that's just very Maidstone, you know, like in the street with your knob out,
Class.
having a fag,
True.
pissing whilst you're drunk.
Well, it's got to the point where they just put
Yeah.
those temporary urinals up in the street now to stop people pissing up against walls.
Yeah, they get these little flatbed
So
trucks,
this-
don't they? And they just
yeah.
unload these sort of portable urinals.
So kind of Friday and Saturday nights in the middle of Maidstone,
There's
there are
toilets.
these toilets just out in the middle of the high street.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it
people just do.
It combats people pissing up against shop doors and stuff.
And maybe they should have done that in Dublin. Then I wouldn't have got
Then
into
you
trouble.
wouldn't have got into trouble in that
Yes.
shop.
Yeah.
Hey, fucking nice
Yeah.
callback.
No,
See?
I can't even imagine how someone can be that just closed-minded. Like, you need the toilet, there's one there.
Let me use it.
Yeah, just let them in.
I
Like,
know, yeah.
I'm not the kind of person, if I owned a shop, like, oh yeah, do you mind if I piss on your window or in the toilet? I know which one I'll choose.
Exactly, you know. So,
Oh, I don't know.
but
Yeah,
But
Hanny and
it's
Cass's
just-
wedding was
yeah, come on,
interesting.
let's hear it because I didn't go. I was
I think
otherwise
Loz has probably
engaged.
got a better idea of what happened than me.
Did we get a little
Um,
bit drunk?
I may have done.
Yeah.
It was the taxi ride home.
The taxi ride home. But there's a slight confusion as to why this happened. But, you know, from my point of view and from, you know, like kind of storytelling point of view, I think my version's a little bit more
Funnier.
funnier.
It might not be true, but it's better.
from the way it looked, from my point of view. So, our two friends, Hanny and Cass, got married after a very long
So now I suppose it's Cass and Cass, isn't it?
Cass and Cass.
The Casses.
Yeah.
Mind you, she definitely kept her first name. So,
Yeah. Well, so she's
Which
still
is
Hanny, I
Hanny.
suppose. Yeah.
and they put on quite a nice spread. You know, all the vol au vents, your sausage rolls, your tuna sandwiches. You know.
Sweet.
Mix that up with quite a few pints of Guinness and wash that down with some port.
Well, not me because I don't
And,
drink Guinness. But
and your stomach isn't socially acceptable anymore.
No.
No, so
I forgot about this. I know where you're going now. I totally forgot about this side of it. His version is better.
Liz and
Just for storytelling purposes.
I believe it was either Liz and Anne or
It was us
Joe
two.
and Grant who booked a taxi.
No, we booked.
Yeah,
a taxi,
okay, so-
yeah.
Anne and Liz booked a taxi home, 5-seater, and there was 5 of us going home. So it was Liz, Anne, Grant, Joe, and myself. Myself and Grant were very, very drunk, but we were still quite coherent. Anne, on the other hand, wasn't. And so it was one of the kind of black cabs. So there's 3 seats in the back, and then 2 facing
Oh right.
facing backwards, so they're facing the people in the back. So Grant was opposite me, and we were just messing around. Like, I was making a rollie, and you know, like just messing around, and threw it at him. And then he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I just thought, right, I've had enough of you. So I leant back in the chair, grabbed my legs, and just farted. You know,
While he was bending down to pick up the rolling.
So, yeah, it wasn't too nice. The smell, sorry,
No,
wasn't too nice.
I can imagine Guinness tuna.
And we were pulling into Hastings Road at the time. And Ant wasn't looking too well. And I presume it was just because of the smell, not the fact he was drunk and going backwards. A little bit car sick. But no, it's definitely to do with the
Oh,
smell.
no, I was going forwards.
No,
What's
you,
that?
you were sitting back.
Was I?
Yeah,
I
because
was
you were the
opposite-
one
oh,
who
'cause-
opened the window, kind of threw up out of the window.
As he was moving.
As it was moving.
No.
You know, it's kind of one of those moments where you wish that you were on the outside walking down the road to see some guy leaning out of a cab window, throwing up, with it spraying up the side of the cab. For weeks, that image in my head just seemed like the funniest thing to ever happen. You just stand there, point, and be like, "What's going on here?" But yeah, so Ant kind of made it. I think the first lot of sick ended up in the inside, in the door handle, in someone's bag.
Was it
Then-
in a bag?
Yeah, it was someone's
Whoops.
bag. I believe it was Joe's.
Oh.
So obviously, I found this
Sorry,
hilarious. Ant found. Liz found it.
Embarrassing, I
Yeah, and she started punching me
Because he was the
because
fart.
I was laughing.
And he
she
farted.
was
He
telling
was the one
me
that
it wasn't
caused it.
funny. But it was funny.
It was.
Yeah, so and then Joe had to stop at mine to go to the toilet. Whilst
That was the thing. There was me feeling sick. There was no desperate for the toilet. Just kind of like, please, let us get to Loz's soon.
and all this time the taxi driver did nothing, absolutely nothing.
Really?
Like, yeah, no, I've heard rumours like where they make you clear it up.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I
charge
think
you,
Joe
like-
did bring, as far as I heard, Liz said Joe did actually clean it up. Well, I think when they got home, I think
Yeah,
Liz
yeah,
said Joe
so-
did clean it up.
Yeah, no, they were cleaning it all the way to theirs because they're probably another 5-10 minute drive from here.
Well, I thought the only reason I opened the window is because there was a cab full of people I didn't want to puke on. But the other side, it's kind of like I want to avoid this £50 cleaning fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I know it doesn't cost 50 quid because I get my car cleaned at the same place they get their taxis cleaned. They do not charge 50 quid. But yeah, I was just like, I want to avoid this fine.
so-
I haven't got enough money.
So Joe and Grant, I think for some reason had a lot of wet wipes. I presume that's a girl thing. I've never really looked
Yeah, it
into one
must
of their
be.
bags. I mean,
Got to stay fresh.
so
One of the
yeah, so
mysteries.
they were cleaning the inside on the way to theirs, and then they did quite a covert. Let's pay for the bill by one of us walking out of one door, so the taxi driver looks at us, whilst the other one gets out the other door and starts cleaning with both hands, like, and wet wipes attached to both sides. So cleaning down the side of the cab, like, whilst the other one's kind of paying
Paying.
through the other window.
Taking his attention away.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think the thing is that I was so embarrassed by that I just had to, like, that's
Go.
it. If we ever go anywhere now, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Because we got a taxi. Because I was like, I'm not going to go to a wedding and not fucking drink.
Yeah.
Kind of regret it.
I can't remember the last time I puked from drinking.
I used to. The problem is, that if
No, I
stay
don't
on
drink
lager-
that much anymore, to be
Oh,
fair.
that was weird. If I stay on lager, I'm perfectly fine.
It's when you
But-
start mixing.
It's when I get the shots and stuff like that. It's no good.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I can't do shots anymore. They just make me feel awful. And I
Yeah.
black out as well and start becoming a weirdo. It's not good.
Wow, I'm glad we had nothing to talk about today.
I know, it's good. We always manage to get
Because I see you put a thing on Facebook
Yeah.
about talking and
Help.
somebody suggested something.
Yeah, Jake, we had a big thing in the office for children in need last week, and the telephony guys up on the middle floor really got involved. Not less so the rest of us. It just seemed like no one could give a shit this year.
Yeah.
But I went up to the canteen for a break at one point, and I saw this slim person
Joe
standing
listens.
there. I know, yeah. Slim person standing there, you know, in pajamas, long blonde hair down to the back, and I was like, weird.
Yeah.
Like, because it's someone in their pajamas at work. and all of a sudden they turn around and it's this guy, and it's this guy Jake, and he's got the beard on, and I look a little bit closer at his legs. Yeah, there's hair. I was just like, oh, and he was like, "You're right, mate."
That started questioning yourself.
Yeah,
a bit
well,
then.
yeah. There were a couple of people dressed in dressing gowns and dressed up as women and stuff like that.
Yeah, you always see it at Sainsbury's. There's always people in their the onesies. It was this year, I think.
Yeah.
What is it with fucking onesies?
I don't know. I
Wanted
wanted one.
You've got one, haven't you, Loz? Oh, okay. I was going to say, Liz wanted to buy me one for Christmas. I was like, no, I'll burn it.
I did want one for a while, but I think it was just before everyone decided that they wanted.
Probably purely for comedy.
Yeah, pretty much. And also because on weekends I generally like to do nothing.
Liz and Chloe, they've got them. They absolutely love them.
Mm. I think it's more of a girl thing. Guys tend to wear them on nights out to be zany and wacky. My brother's mates from uni all wear one. They go on onesie nights where they go out.
It's
to
definitely
clubs and
sort
stuff.
of uni age people. It's the sort of thing you would have done at uni.
Yeah, probably. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not something you would do now.
No, because we're old and past it now.
Well, yeah. So
Well,
that's kind of leading us on to another subject, actually.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Which is my big life change.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
yeah, so I
Good
bought
point.
a house when I was 23, maybe?
Yeah, Loz,
No.
like, you listen to Loz and you think, oh my god, he's just crazy, he's irresponsible.
And you look at him, he's covered in tattoos. He's got tattoos on his face.
He's got slime on his jumper. It is kind of like, you think, oh, he's not a very responsible person. Not
He
true.
experiments with shit. I mean,
I think that's more genetic.
I think
than
he's the
anything.
first person in our sort of generation that brought a house,
Yeah,
or brought his
definitely.
own place.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
a doubt. First
So,
person I knew from our set of friends.
Yeah, that was a weird one. But yeah, so I've been there for 4 years, coming up 5. So yeah, but like through the recession and things like that, there's been certain amounts of pay cuts at my employment. So I just thought, I guess now's the time. So I've sold my flat and I'm off to university.
That's
So,
absolutely mad.
That's
yeah,
pretty cool. What are you going to do?
I am going off to do animal science.
Animal science.
Yeah.
Radio. Does that mean that you're
Like
going
veterinary
to,
or-
Yeah.
I presume it could lead on to something like that if I wanted to continue studying. It's more, I've always liked animals. I always wanted to be a vet when I was growing up. But, yeah, just kind of went off the rails, shall we say, when I was younger. And, but yeah, so, yeah, I always wanted to do something with animals. So that's kind of where this has gone. I'd like to be a zookeeper, but I thought if I just went to a zoo, then I'd have nothing to fall back on. So if I get something with a degree, there's other opportunities
That's
than
true.
Yeah,
just
that's
being
true.
a
That's
zookeeper.
definitely true.
Plus, I get to learn a bit more about animals, which is kind of quite an interest of mine. So
Fair
I
play.
thought that'd be a good
It's
idea.
definitely interesting. It is. But I think when you get older, when you find the people that go to uni when they're older, they're the people that I like. Just generally out of the group of people, aren't they? They're the ones who tend to do stuff a bit of out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Like Corky done film studies.
Yeah.
You did journalism. I
Yeah.
suppose journalism's not a usual one. It's usually English or something like that, isn't it? You done
True.
journalism.
I chose journalism because it was more interesting than media studies, or because media studies is it was half of my degree, but it's really that it's that one for people who really don't want to do a proper degree. But I can say journalism because journalism was the major part.
Yeah. So you're doing animal studies, and my cousin, I think he's going to be 30 next year. He's 29 this year, and he's in his last. He's in his last year of he's in his last year of marine biology.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
right, awesome.
That's just like that's a bit different, and
Yeah.
he's actually going to go and do a masters in computer science,
Oh, really?
so he can kind of do the analysis of
Oh,
stuff
cool.
along with the study.
See, I wish.
That was like a really weird pairing, but when he explained it to me, I was like, oh.
Yeah. See, it's when you get to a point in your life where you actually go, like, this is what I'm interested in, and how can I take what I'm interested in and kind of make it a thing
Yeah.
that I can do with my life. I think that's when you need to start looking at university rather than going to university straight out of school, because no one knows what they want to do straight out of school. I mean, I should have waited another couple of years and not done journalism, because journalism is a sector that's dying.
I suppose with all the online freelance stuff,
exactly.
Blogs are killing
newspaper circulations are down.
I mean, most of the newspaper websites, or the news websites, actually not even employ. They just use freelancers a lot of the time, don't they?
Yeah.
And they might get a few staff writers that are quite contributors, but usually you see the main contributors to websites are like actually the editors of that sort of section of the news. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is why you just kind of start your own blog.
Exactly. Which is why I do my own blog. It's why really we're doing this as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
And if you wanted to read that blog, what website would you go to?
I think it's tomaustinmorgan.wordpress.com.
I don't think it's Thomas. Or is
No,
it
it's Tom.
It's Tom Austin
Yeah.
Morgan. Because I was looking for it the other day and I was putting a hyphen in,
But
and that didn't.
I
work.
haven't blogged anything on there in ages now, because I spend so much
I think
time.
the last one was Churchill, wasn't it?
No, not Hitchcock.
Hitchcock.
Yeah.
I know it was one of the.
So I've just got a Facebook message from someone, Steve Collins, who I used to go to school with. I asked people for stuff to talk about, and I've already mentioned Jake dressing up as a girl for work last week for charity, you know. But yeah, Steve has asked why Chewbacca didn't get a medal at the end of Star Wars.
Was that because his whole race was wiped out, and he'd have no one else to show it off to?
Is that the reason?
I don't know.
I would have just thought you wouldn't really want to stick a pin in a
Wookiee, yeah, because he might rip your arms off.
He's not wearing clothes. So I suppose you could pin it to his.
There's that one scene where he's wearing trainers.
Sorry?
There's that one scene where he's wearing trainers.
Oh, I've not
yeah,
seen that one.
in Cloud City.
Yeah,
when
it's
he's
true.
We
walking
can
away,
get
he's
into
wearing-
this. We're already an hour into the podcast. This could go on for a while. We might have to get Loz back.
Maybe
again.
we do a double episode.
Oh, 2 hours. Well, no, we've got places to be today, unfortunately, because my mum is out of hospital now.
Oh, good.
Oh, right.
She had her operation. I was thinking, Loz knows?
No, I didn't.
To the podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, she had an operation because of the cyst.
Oh,
on
yeah,
her
no,
spine.
yeah, I remember, yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, she's up and walking about now. It's absolutely crazy.
Good.
Kind of removed the cysts and there you go.
Awesome.
And like the only
She's
discomfort from the operation.
yeah. Is she still on the medication or not so much?
No, she's not as bombed anymore.
Oh, that's
as she
cool.
was.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, there was a couple of weeks where you'd go around and she was just kind of bombed, where she's on morphine. We went to see her in hospital. Where it was funny. It's fun.
Yeah, I bet.
She was just bombed.
Just had no idea
Just
what was
kept
going
falling
on.
asleep.
Yeah.
And then waking up and, no, I'm not asleep. But yeah, no, she's fine. I think, she's on painkillers, but I think she's weaning. She's coming right off of them.
Oh, cool. Good
Like,
stuff.
she's on a lot less than she was now. So we're going to go and see her and see how she is. And then
Awesome.
we've got to come all the way back home to Maidstone and go for dinner.
Oh, what, is your mum still at the hospital?
No, she lives in Rochester now.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, my dad lives around the corner. Mum lives in Rochester.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, no, I remember the old basement there.
Oh no, not down there now.
No?
They live at the top of the road.
Oh,
my
right,
dad.
okay, right.
It's all
Same
moved.
road,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
further up.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, because that was where I first met Chloe, I believe.
It was, and you
So-
brought her Funeral for a Friend vinyl.
Yeah,
which is
it's funny actually. I was listening to Hours the other day.
Yeah.
I was
First time in a
listening to
long time.
Funeral for a Friend all of last week. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I listened to all their
trying
albums.
their new album again, and it's still not doing it.
No.
I've just been listening to a hell of a lot of Hailstorm this week, and Mooley,
Yeah. Which
a
is something
potential
that could,
future guest.
hopefully we'll get a
I
guest
bought
on.
the is it 606 Sound City album?
Oh, I know.
Yes,
No, so I watched the movie. and
you
that-
watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom still hasn't seen it.
No.
Oh right, okay, yeah. No,
It's alright.
it's worth a
I
watch.
have-
Worth a watch. But they released
to
the CD or whatever.
Yeah, have you listened to it?
Yeah, just. No.
I have listened to bits of it, and I don't think it has the same sort of effect. When it's the soundtrack to the film, it sounds brilliant. When you're listening to it out of context, I don't think it's as
It's
good.
like the Tenacious D Pick of Destiny album doesn't work outside the film.
Mantra.
Really.
I think it's better than Rise of the Phoenix. I don't like Rise of the Phoenix.
There are bits.
There's a song called Mantra on it, which was Josh Homme,
Yeah.
Yes.
Homme.
whatever.
Josh Homme
Yeah.
and Trent Reznor.
Trent Reznor, and obviously Dave Grohl. And on the film, it sounded so much better.
They reckon-
That was one of the songs that wasn't doing it for me on the film at all.
Oh really?
And I don't. Corey Taylor song is probably one of the best songs on their album, and he had a little snippet in the film.
Yeah.
Like it was about 30 seconds. And that's all he had in the whole film. But his song is one of the best on the album.
I found it quite weird because obviously in the trailer, like all the artists were talking about other bands. Like, so you'd have someone from like Fleetwood Mac say something about like Nirvana, and someone else saying something, and then it gets to Corey Taylor, and he's like, Slipknot.
Yeah.
Stop promoting your band, alright?
Remember us.
But what would you expect? I do like Slipknot though.
That was quite a cool bit in the film actually, where they showed them filming, recording the first album. Yeah,
that was
so it was
awesome,
obviously Sid like on the decks, and then they had Rage Against the Machine. They invited all their mates down, so everyone was just watching that.
Yeah,
so,
it is
cool.
good.
I do need to see this.
Yes. We'll sort something out.
Yeah.
But I think we should call that.
Maybe we haven't got any time for our ABCs of ABH this week. We might have to do that on another.
Oh no!
None of this research we did. Or didn't do.
We
Sorry.
stuff up just in case.
Yeah, there's
there
our
was this whole
fallback
thing,
news
There's
stories.
gridlock on a highway because of a Lego spill. I really want to read that. I'll have to read it out. But yeah, I suppose,
Why not that one?
What about the woman arrested with a loaded gun stashed in her vagina and bags of meth concealed between her butt?
What way was it pointing though? Like...
It's loaded. But then again, what's going to pull the trigger?
Well,
some
people have got an excellent
she forgets it's in there and she
pelvic floor muscle
Well, no, I was going to say, what did she forget?
That isn't Sting's missus, is it?
I was going to say, what if she kind of forgets it's in there, loaded, and she pulls, and then they kind of get a bit frisky on the aeroplane.
Mate, you got to be pretty baggy
have a little bit
to
of
feel that.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, that's true, I suppose.
She's on meth.
Well, that's true. Anyway,
yeah,
I think that went quite well.
Yeah.
Oh, what you want to?
No, there's just a couple more. Again, Steve has asked.
Church looks like an angry bird.
It actually does.
It's like a front view of an angry bird. That is weird. These are all on the Huffington Post weird news, UK weird news.
Yeah, because we wouldn't go for any serious news.
No.
No.
What's the point?
I mean, that did pay out quite well with that lady with the pit bull. Anyway. Yeah, ABH. I mean, yeah.
I think because the thing is, I could talk about my B for quite a while, and I think we came up with the same B, so maybe we'll have to do that.
Slightly different. It's the same.
The same thing. But not the same thing. The same subject, but not the same material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay.
But I think that could that I was hoping to take up about half an hour because I could easily do it.
But we didn't need to, apparently.
No, because we've gone well over an hour now, and I think maybe it would be a good idea to stop.
Minutes.
But Steve, sorry I didn't get round to who invented liquid soap and why, because it kind of looks wrong. And if
it depends. If it's coconut liquid soap, then yeah, it looks wrong. But if it's like aloe vera liquid soap, then it's green. It doesn't look wrong.
True, yeah. But we didn't get round to talking about that, or the fact that if Teflon's non-stick, how does it stick to the pan in the first place?
It's a very good point.
It is a very good point.
Maybe it's like mirror though. It's only one side of it.
Maybe. I tell you what, I'll do some research into it this week, and we'll talk about it on next week's show.
It's probably just like a vacuum. It's a material, and it just kind of vacuum form it onto the pan or something.
Quite possibly.
I'm sure it's on How It's Made. That
TV
show.
Yeah, that's true.
Just waste years of your life.
I started watching Mythbusters on Netflix now. The first series was 3 episodes.
Really?
And you know that Carrie, who's in the newer ones, the woman. Had you not watched it?
No, I've.
Okay, she was in the later series, but actually she was on the 2nd episode. She's been with them from the start.
Oh.
You should look her up.
Should I? Okay, rightio. I should do that. And I'll also look into Teflon.
Yeah, look into Teflon. That's interesting.
So we'll talk about that next week.
Coated with Teflon anyway.
True. Yeah.
Like, here's your dinner. Careful, the plate's hot.
How do you do that? But yeah, so that's been Anywhere But Here this week with
have we not promoted something?
Yeah, find us on Twitter. Hey, it's me, Tom.
And I'm Hey, it's Ant.
and Loz is on there as well.
No, you don't want to follow me. It's just, you know,
You look through our timelines, and
Yeah.
there'll be quite a few posts.
complete drivel. Just, you know, every time I get a new follower, I just think, oh god, I feel sorry for you.
Why?
Why have you followed me?
Yeah.
I think you tweet more regularly than me, though.
It's just, you know, like work and the random boredom and the weird thoughts that come into your head.
That's what. Twitter
That's
is.
what it's for, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. So that is.
So that's us. Find us at abhpod.com. If you're buying anything through Amazon, go through the banner on our website because you know it's important to us.
The thing is, you said that because you bought a book which was 10p, but you could have
Yeah.
used the 31p you've already
That's
made.
true.
And technically, that is a business expense because it's something we want to talk about on the podcast.
It's true, yeah. Shit.
We need to because that publisher's got quite a lot of followers, and they were going to tweet about the podcast.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be here next week. We'll be able to talk about the book that I'm going to bring in next week. We'll be back to the ABCs of ABH next week as
we
well.
took a break because of last.
Yeah. Special guests, it doesn't count, I don't think.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that lasts us a good year then,
Yeah,
as long
hopefully.
as we get guests.
Yeah,
Well,
we might
let
even
me know when you get back to the letter S, and I'll come back.
Come
or,
back,
or,
and we
or
can
P. I don't mind.
have and we can have a chat about all sorts of other things. But maybe there'll be an extra special guest next week.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
A kind of music producer of sorts.
Yeah.
But until then, that's been Anywhere But Here this week. I've been Tom.
I've been in.
Find us on iTunes, abh.com, abhpod.com, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Thanks to Loz for coming along and
Yeah, I've been me.
regaling us with all sorts of stories. And perhaps we'll do it again.
Scatological stories. Yeah.
Anyway, bye.
Bye bye.